Hello and welcome, cool cats, to BL 172.9. If you've been part-time dreaming and scheming a plan for your great escape, then grab you a plate because we're serving smooth, creative hits that'll make you want to quit that 9-to-5 job. Now sit back, relax, and you'll see, because you are traveling first class to where the part-time dreamers be. Greetings to my part-time dreamers that are dreaming big dreams. It is time to clock in, and you are just in time. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 4, and I bet you have been dying for another episode, and I've just been really trying to figure out, I can't talk, but that's nothing new. So I've been trying to figure out, I knew what direction I wanted to go in this episode, but there were still a little bit things I was unclear about. But I was able to get it together. So you should be proud of me, because I definitely want to, continue this, and I definitely want to, keep expressing myself, expressing my creative side, and then also just, express my thoughts about me being creative, not going into details of my ideas because I don't want y'all stealing my stuff, but talking about things around me, talking about things that are happening in the industry that I want to be in, so on and so forth. But yes, we got a little episode here, and we got some, things to get into. So, one of the big things that happened, and this was the week after my birthday, because yes, I do have a birthday, and it did pass, and it was February 2nd. And you know what? I wasn't going to do this, but damn it, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Bella Day. Happy birthday to me. Yes, I know. Perfect impression of Marilyn Monroe, right? So yes, I just had a birthday. It's always so weird because every time I have my freaking birthday, I never plan anything out, because towards like the couple of months before my birthday, so much things are going on. I feel like it kind of starts in October with Thanksgiving, and then we have, not Thanksgiving. You have Halloween in October, you have Thanksgiving in November, you have Christmas in December, and then you have New Year's in January. And then by the time it comes to my birthday, I'm like, oh yeah, wait, I forgot to plan something. Or, oh wait, what did I want to do for my birthday? So I never really planned anything, but this year I had some friends who were like, oh, you should do something because we want to go and, celebrate with you and hang out. And I was like, oh yeah. Okay, so I did do something. I went to do karaoke, which that is one of my favorite things to do, even though I cannot sing. But I love the idea of acting like I can, because that's very fun. And then I got to spend it with some family and friends, and it was just a really good time. And then I got I didn't get a little drunk. I got more buzzed. I was buzzed, a little tipsy, so that was fun too. And let me see, what else did I do? Oh, but okay. So one of the main things that I really besides the fact of me actually celebrating my birthday, I knew if I didn't have anything actually planned for the day itself, I was going to Well, actually, let me go back a few steps. So, okay, so yeah, I did the karaoke. That was fun. And then Super Bowl was actually on my birthday because Super Bowl either lands on like the first, second, or third, depending on that first Sunday of the February. I believe that's every time the Super Bowl is always that first Sunday. So it was on my birthday. So I spent time at my dad's house for that. My stepmom made me a cake, and then they sung me happy birthday. And then I got like a plant and like a gift card and a balloon. It was a space balloon. My little sister picked it out for me. It was super cute. And okay, I don't think I missed anything. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, so today, I lived another year. Thank you, Jesus. And I wish to have many more years to come. Okay, enough about that. So back to what I was saying about if I didn't actually plan anything on my birthday, my plan was to see Birds of Prey and the fantabulous one Harley and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, or the newly titled Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. Because I knew, since I'm such a huge fan of Harley Quinn, I'm currently working on a origin story screenplay for Harley Quinn. Of course, I wanted to see that movie. Like, I was too damn hyped to see that movie. So I knew that was going to be one of the things I was going to do regardless. And so, going to the fact that they had actually kind of shifted the title, I'm going to kind of like go through some different things here. So first, I'm going to say, the movie didn't do very well in the box office, and I don't think it was because of the movie itself. I think there was a lot of other factors that actually played into the movie not doing well. One of the things I did notice is that the advertisements seemed like the marketing, like the promotion, was mostly geared or mostly targeted to social media. Because even like my mother was saying, like, as she watched TV, because she's an avid TV watcher, that she hardly ever saw a trailer for it. And normally if movies come out, she'll let me know, like, oh, hey, I seen the trailer for this, or hey, this came out. And she was like, I hardly ever seen it. And I know personally, like when I would go on Facebook or when I was on Instagram, I saw a bunch of promotion about it. So I think that they excluded a demographic or an audience just in regards from lacking on marketing within the TV world, or possibly the streaming world, especially if people were, well, I think I saw it on YouTube though, but like anywhere else you go, I don't know if there was promotion that was put out. And please correct me if I'm wrong, if you're like, I saw that on TV, I saw that trailer every day, but that's just my personal opinion. And then they'd actually end up changing the name of it, because I think they thought, wait, they didn't know this was a Harley Quinn film, so we should have put Harley Quinn's name on the forefront so that would attract people. Because to be honest, I think there's a very, 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 very good market, and there is an audience for a Harley Quinn story. And that is why I am personally so passionate about it, and why I plan to be a part of a project, or like the project will come from me. Because I'm just an avid Harley Quinn fan. I adore her. I love her. And I think her story is very fun. And I think her story deserves to be told. She deserves to have her own film, because she's just a character in and out herself. But it was just a lot of elements that I feel that they kind of just missed the mark on. And it could also be timing. But the only thing with timing being an issue is, well, I was looking on this YouTube channel called Film Courage, and they were mentioning, well, there's a producer talking on there, and she was talking, the title was like, how to, I think it said to grab a producer's attention, or to get a producer to make your project, or something like that. And, excuse me. And so one of the things that the producer was saying is that some movies are good, but if they get put out in the wrong time, or if they're kind of years before their time. Does that make sense? Years before their time? Basically, if it's like a project comes out too early and it's something that could have been done like years later and would have been successful, then that could be a potential reason as to why, it does fail. And so, but it's a hero. We're in a, not even a hero, but we're in a comic book age. Comic book heroes, comic book villains are the craze. Like, this is the time to make these type of movies because everyone is in, like, it's booming in the market. People want to see comic book movies. We have the technology to bring these comic book characters and, everything that they can do and these scenes and the action, we're able to produce that. And even just the, special effects to be able to create these different characters that we couldn't do, 10 years ago. This is the time to do it, which I really wish I was a screenwriter right now. I was in the industry. I had my foot somewhere in the industry where I would be able to do that. But I know I will one day. My time will come because all this stuff, it just cycles back around, because I don't think comic books are ever going to go out of style. Hopefully not. But so what I want to get into now is kind of going through my likes and kind of dislikes of the movie. So the one thing I really liked is the action. First of all, the idea of women kicking ass. Oh my God, I just love it. I think it just looks so good on screen. The choreography of the fight scenes was very, very well done. It was very interesting. It was like I kind of seen some stuff I'd never seen someone do before in action scenes, and I just really, really, really enjoyed that part. I also like how they captured Harley Quinn's character. To be honest, I felt like they captured her perfectly. They embodied her, and they just did such a good job of capturing just her dialogue, her mannerisms, just everything about her. And I love how they included her hyena, which she actually has two. And they're originally supposed to, their names was Bud and Lou, if I'm not mistaken. And they were originally supposed to be the Jokers, but she grew attached to them. They grew attached to her. And then she ends up, when she goes on her own, does she take them? I'm trying to think of like the new 52 comic books if I believe they're in it. I think they're in it. But I don't think you see them as much. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. I can't remember right now. But I did like how they added that element. But in Birds of Prey, she had named him Bruce after Bruce Wayne. I thought that was cute. I did enjoy the storytelling a little bit. It was a little confusing because you didn't know what they were doing, because they would get so far in the story and then it's like a scene would pop up and you're like, wait, where the hell did this come from? And then all of a sudden it would go backwards in telling it and then leading back up to that moment. So it was very interesting. It's one of those things where, you try to shake up the standard way, or what is the word for it? Like the standard practice or structure of screenwriting. And I felt like they kind of just did something way different, which was really cool. And I felt like it did work. And then, of course, Margot Robbie is the most perfect Harley Quinn ever. I feel as though there's never been a Harley Quinn movie because there's never been a perfect Harley Quinn. And Margot Robbie, she was born to play her. I mean, now I'm always super hopeful because whenever I make my origin movie, I know that I'm going to find a just as good perfect Harley Quinn. I know I can. But right now, she is absolutely amazing. She definitely embodies that character. And then I liked seeing Journey Smollett. Journey Smollett, she's an actress who's played in Eve's Bayou and The Great Debaters, and also had some cameos in The Cosby Show when she was really little. And it was just really cool seeing her act again because I've always really liked her as an actress. I think she's incredible. And then seeing Rosie Perez as well, because I know Rosie Perez, she played in Do the Right Thing. She was in White Man Can't Jump. And that movie had Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. And it's so funny because she came such a long way as an actress, because she used to have this like super, super, super thick accent, and now it's completely gone. Like, if you would have never seen any of her previous movies, you would, well, actually, if you saw any of her previous movies, you would have thought she was putting on an accent in those, and that her real voice was what we hear it as now. And to be honest, it's the exact opposite. So, yes, because I like me some Rosie Perez as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to dive into what I didn't really like about the movie. So dislikes I have. Okay, so I was really excited about this scene because I saw within the trailer, you know, small clips of it, where she's wearing this like pink silk jumpsuit and she has this blonde short hairstyle, just like Marilyn Monroe in the movie, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, where she sings about diamonds are a girl's best friend. And I was so excited to see how they were going to incorporate that retro aspect into this movie. And then when I saw it being placed into the movie, I felt like it was kind of off. And this is going to be a little spoiler if you haven't seen this movie. But so I suggest you like fast forward like maybe 10 seconds. But this was the part where Black Mask, he tells her, she basically tries to set it up to say, oh hey, I'll get you this diamond that you want. And then he hits her. I forgot exactly what happened. I've slept since I've seen this movie, but he hits her, and then when he knocks her out a little bit, she starts having this dream sequence of diamonds are a girl's best friend. And I can see oh yeah, that's cute, that I see why they put it in there, but I don't know. It just felt like, is it necessary? Would we need to see it? I know they were trying to embody the character and how she thinks and how she can be so kind of ADHD, all over the place with her thoughts. But it was could we have done without it? Yeah. Was it essential to the story, to her character development? But I feel like that was so much going on anyways. Maybe not. Anywho, but I mean, I thought it was cute and I wanted it to work. I really did. And I was so excited about it, but, and then, we didn't get a lot of backstory because first of all, I don't know a lot about Black Mask, but we just didn't get a lot of his backstory. And what people know of him in Gotham, or if there's this fear in Gotham of thinking about Black Mask and what he's done to people, and just the danger, because I didn't find him very dangerous. I didn't even feel like he really was a villain. It was like certain elements are yeah, we're showing you he's a villain, but it didn't feel like he was villainous. And then we just didn't get his story. And when you're introducing a character that we know nothing about, I think it should have some type of backstory, something to really reveal who this person is, why we should be afraid of him, why is he considered a villain, you know? There were some things, but I don't think it was enough. It just didn't do enough for me. Also, I'm completely biased. I, of course, want to see a Harley Quinn story, but I felt like it did nothing to tell the story of who the Birds of Prey were. Because if she is a part of a group, which I think she's not an official member, she's kind of a part-time member, you can say, something like that. I don't think she's an official member, there you go, of this group of Birds of Prey. I think she kind of comes and goes when she wants to because she does her own thing at the same time. But, but it just felt like the story was too much about Harley Quinn and trying to show, Harley Quinn's backstory and who she was. And it just didn't give enough of the other characters, because if you're going to name, movie, or if you're just going to include Birds of Prey in there, everybody needs to kind of have an equal spotlight, so that when everyone, so it's you have the separate spotlights of all these different members that are going to be a part of Birds of Prey. Then we need to get to a certain point where they're all put together. So you're You have this person, you have this person, you have this person, you have this person. You have a good understanding of who they are, where they've came from, what are they trying to do. And then it goes into where we see how they all end up connecting together for the greater good or for whatever purpose that, you know, makes the most sense. And it just, I don't know, it just didn't do it. And like I said, I love a Harlequin story, but if you're going to do a Harlequin story, it needs to be a Harlequin story. It doesn't need to be adding all of these other elements into it, or like the grand scheme is Birds of Prey, but literally most of the movie is taken over by Harlequin. That makes no sense at all. I get the point of her narrating it because they did do that in this movie. She narrated a lot, but the narration has to lead. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I feel like they kind of missed the mark with that. The same thing that happened with Suicide Squad is they had missed the mark. That people were under the impression, and this is why I feel like Suicide Squad didn't do good, just kind of a side note, they gave the audience an impression that it was going to be a Joker or Harlequin movie. And it did it did very well. But the reviews weren't good because it was very misleading. Oh, okay. And speaking of that, this movie played off of Suicide Squad, which I didn't like that. I understand she came from Suicide Squad, but I wish there was some element that this was its own thing and not kind of piggybacking off of that movie, because that wasn't a good movie. Like, that movie, no. And it felt like this movie just basically kind of did the same thing, where it's supposed to be about a team, but then there's only, the focus of the story is mainly on one person. And in case of Suicide Squad, it was two people, Joker and Harlequin. And Joker doesn't even have a big part in Suicide Squad, like, at all. Suicide Squad has nothing to really do with him. Yes, he may have cameos here and there, but it just, you have to pick the focus. And that's one thing I've learned about screenwriting is, you know, you have to have your A plot, you have to have your B, and then like a C and D to maybe whatever to help A. Like, everything has to help the main plot. Everything has to be there. Like, all the ingredients you put in the cake, it's for the cake to be good, you know? You're not going to put anything in there that's going to be out of place, because then it's going to throw the whole recipe off and you're going to have a disgusting cake. And that probably wasn't the best example, but oh well. Oh, so yeah. And then just kind of leading off of that, there wasn't enough of the other characters. They showed, like, I don't know, just like little scenes of their backstories in their life, but you didn't really get to know the characters. And I think they should have done less about telling Harlequin's story, told everyone's story evenly. Maybe a little bit, okay, if they felt like Harlequin's a star, more about her, because people know more about Harlequin than they did Renee Montoya or Huntress or Black Canary. But, like, those are characters I'd want to get to know, especially Huntress. Her story was, like, really awesome. Kind of like Kill Bill-esque, you know? Kind of, but not really. But her story would have been, like, super freaking interesting. And even Renee Montoya, like, they seem like some pretty solid characters, but I just felt like they got robbed in that film. And you just have to find that central focus, that balance. Because you want to root for all of them, you know? You want to root for all of the characters. You want to root, you know, for them to get together. You want to root for them to win when they are together. And it did miss that mark for sure. And so, to be honest, would I buy this movie? Of course I'm going to buy it. Because I really want to watch it again. I wish I could have saw it in theaters again, because when I originally watched it, I was just so excited. And it was just kind of like, ooh, the pretty lights. But, you know, you don't really get to really sit and focus on the story and everything. I'm actually surprised, because when I originally was trying to sit down and kind of critique this movie or, like, tell my thoughts about it, I was like, wait, what are my thoughts? And then I started writing it down. I was like, oh, okay, those are actually pretty good. But anywho, I hope you enjoy those as well. But, okay, so we're going to still keep the momentum of talking about Harley. So I had found on Amazon, because of course with me wanting to write an origin story of Harlequin, I'm really piggybacking off of the material, the comic books, the New 52s, the original, when Harlequin was first introduced into the animation series. I'm really using that information, mostly in the New 52, because that's more of like the bigger direction of like her story being told and really kind of diving into who she is. But I had found this novel on Amazon, and it's titled after the it's like, this was her origin story, Mad Love, where that was the episode in the Batman animation series that actually gave background to Harlequin. Now, they went far. They showed when she met him in the asylum, how they fell in love, so on and so forth. But Mad Love, that is written by Paul Dini, who is the creator of Harlequin, and Pat Cadigan, and she's also an author, so they teamed up to write Mad Love, a more in-depth version of her story. So we're diving into when she was a kid, which is definitely the road that I was going to go into in my screenplay. So I thought, okay, I'm kind of doing the same thing, so why don't I just get this novel, check it out, see what Paul Dini, the freaking mastermind behind Harlequin, has to say about her backstory. And so I am reading it so far. To be honest, it's taken me literally just until yesterday, and I got this at the beginning of February, and it's taken me just now to get to page 36, because I literally haven't even picked it up and really touched it. I've read like 1 or 2 pages like a couple times, and then I've just not read it. But I'm finally starting to read it, get into it. And it is very interesting. It's interesting storytelling. It's an easy read, nothing super hard. But I can definitely tell I do want to take inspiration from that novel. A little bit, not too much. Because I know from my feedback that I got from my friends, if you tune into episode 3, or no, I think it's episode 2. Yeah, episode 2, where I go into Harlequin and I talk about my script. Or I think I talk about like all 3 episodes. But if you go in, at one point I do mention how my friends wanted a darker version of the story, and I'm wanting to go in a darker version. I want to be inspired by like Christopher Nolan and what he did in The Dark Knight, but I don't think it's I don't think it fits her characteristics to go that dark. I don't think she had that dark of a childhood, but I do have some aspects that are dark in it. But I think like a good balance, not too off the wall, not too crazy, but believable enough to think, oh, okay, yeah, that probably could have happened to her. But nothing too crazy. So I haven't finished it. But when I do actually finish the book, I will let you know. From the reviews, they basically said it's almost like they just inserted the child part, and then after that, it's just like the comic book. But I think everything's probably still more detailed than it is in the comic book, because everything's just so fast. So I think the novel is going to explain more of their conversations and more of the background and more of their initial meetings and so on and so forth. And so, yes, I'm really excited because I've waited all this time to get this dang on novel, and I'm like, I'm not even reading it. What's wrong with me? So going from talking about the novel, getting into my script, which I started talking about anyways. So with the Harley script, the previous episode, I did give myself a new deadline. I said by my birthday, I wanted to have it completed. But I did not completed. Because if I did, I'd be sitting here saying, oh my God, guys, guess what? But I haven't. And well, one thing for sure, I'm not down on myself about it, because I love that I'm even taking the initiative to do it. And I love that I'm not losing hope in it, because this is, it's been, has it been over a year? Hold on, because last year made it a year. Yeah. Right? Yeah, last year was a year. It was a year from when I had wrote my original one, and then me kind of starting again was a year later. So I'm not going to be down on myself and be like, oh my God, you didn't meet the deadline, because I fall into these patterns where if I'm not finishing things fast enough, or if I'm having writer's block, or if I'm procrastinating, or if I'm not feeling motivated, that I will fall into this trap of, well, it's not happening fast enough, so how about I just don't do it? And I don't want to do that to myself, because I know myself. And I have really high moments, I have really low moments, and then I have moments where nothing is happening. And so I'm trying to find this balance, and every day I think about this script, every single freaking day, while I'm at work, while I'm in the shower, while I'm in my car, when I'm alone with my thoughts, right before I go to bed, when I wake up in the morning. It's constantly on my mind, but I just have this weird thing where I keep everything in my head and I don't put it on paper. But let me be honest for a moment, and this is some raw honesty. It is very, very intimidating, because I have never, well, I've wrote one script before. And that was a short film. And it's weird, because when I did that short film, I just did it. There was no thought. There was no hesitation. There was no feeling unmotivated. There was no procrastination. There was just this drive that I've been fighting to get back ever since, because I was just going, no matter what happened, no matter who told me something didn't make sense. It didn't matter who thought that I couldn't do it. I was going to do it regardless. So I think there's a lot of intimidation. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of just all of those things that kind of cloud my judgment in this process. I'm sorry. I get really emotional about this. And so I just get really clouded by it. And I know I want to write it. I know I can do it. But I just have just the hardest time just sitting my butt down and doing it. But I notice when I have moments, like actually today, I had a moment where I had sat down. Well, actually, I had sat down and I'd actually wrote. And it felt so good, because I know when I sit there and I'm kind of just writing and playing with it, because before I actually start writing, I sit there and I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Because there's certain things that, I have questions about. There's things that I'm not sure how to write, because, writing a book is not the same as writing a screenplay. Screenplay, the dialogue has to be strong. The scene descriptions need to be short, sweet, bold, to the point. It's not like writing a novel. And so I just struggle with that aspect, because I'm a very wordy person. And so I tend to lean more towards, just kind of putting in the fillers, and it's just, a screenplay is just a whole new ball game. And I remind myself that, Bela Day, you are just getting into this. You are a newbie. I know I have raw talent, and I know I have the ability to hone my craft, to refine my skills, to, do a lot better. I just have to do it. And the only way for me to get better is to practice, practice, practice. And it's an internal battle in my head, and I'm always going back and forth like, oh, I really want to write. Oh, I really want to do this, And what ends up happening is I tend to kind of balance other things before the script, because a part of me, it's not like I'm scared to write it. It's just the fear of it not being good, I think. But I also know that what I'm writing currently is just the first draft. This is not what I would send off. This is not what I would ever show Warner Brothers. This is really not what I would want to show my peers or anyone who's interested in reading it. Because I remember I was super excited, and, I'm getting all these people like, ooh, would you want to read my script? Would you want to read my script? But then I'm kind of thinking, girl, like, I don't want to show nobody nothing that I'm not proud to show them, And I don't need to rush to get, like, it's good. I want to get people's opinion, but I want to show them something like, this is me. Like, this is what I can come up with. I don't want to just show them anything and then they read it and be like, girl, like, you've hyped this up too much and you wrote this. This is what you came up with. Girl, get a hobby. Girl, don't quit your day job, And so that is the goal, is I just really want to perfect it. I just really want to not even perfect it, but have a really good solid base and then go from there, because then I'll end up doing rewrites. So then I'll have first draft, then second draft, and then third draft. So how many drafts I need until I feel as though it's strong, and that when someone's reading this script, they don't want to stop reading it. Because normally if you send your work off to like managers, screenplay managers, or production studios, you have to get them sucked in within like the first scene. If you don't have it within the first scene, that makes them not have a reason to read the second scene, then your script is out of there. And there's so many that, get thrown away just as quick as they were received. And I don't want to be those writers. And at the same time, I can't just think about it. And I know my writing is not going to be the best in the beginning, but that's right now, this process is not what it's about. It's not about me being the best writer ever. It's about me just writing. It's about me facing my fear and working towards living my dream. That's all it really is. And I can't just sit up here just thinking, oh, well, I'm just not going to do it because, I'm scared to do it. This is all I want in life, to be creative, to write, even though I procrastinate like a mother, but I just want to write. I want to be creative, and I know this is the industry, and this is what I want to do with my life. So, of course, I'm going to give myself a new deadline, which is going to be, I'm going to try to finish it by the first week of April. That's my goal. And I actually came up with a new idea for the plot, because I had one idea I was sitting on, and then I've been kind of thinking about it more, because of course I think about it all day, every day, and I've been thinking about it more and more, and I go, ooh, well, what about this? So this would actually be, hold on, I'm trying to think, because I had the one plot idea, and then I changed like one idea of it. And now I'm changing another aspect of it with, of course, inspiration from the Mad Love novel. And so the one thing, but I know I have to just take kind of one scene at a time. I have to look at it that way, because I had an ending. I was like, oh my God, this is a great ending. And basically it was kind of like the end of Birds of Prey, ending in the amusement park, and the amusement park in Birds of Prey was exactly how I imagined my amusement park when I was writing the script. And I was like, well, it's not that like ending, but yeah, it'd be within like the last, I would say probably like 5 minutes of the film. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. So I'm still working on that because I have no idea how I'm going to conclude it. And then there's some other elements and stuff I'm going to add in there as well. And there's a bunch of characters I'm adding in there. But I don't know if it'll be too much. Like, okay, I'll tell you this. And let me know. I feel like it sounds like a lot. But, no, I don't want to tell. I don't want to say anything. Like, I literally don't want to say anything about it. Because I want people to read it. Because your work should speak for itself, you know? I want people to read it and go, oh, you put this character in there. I see how you did that. That works. Like, that's what I want. I don't want to just like tell people and then people read it, they're expecting it, you know? I just want that element of surprise. I just want people to read it. And of course I want them to like it, but also be very honest and say, because, you know, if people can read it if normal people who aren't screenwriters like myself read the script and enjoy it, I can only imagine what a freaking producer would think, even though a producer or screen, they have an eye for stuff, so they can easily pick up mistakes and stuff. So that would be a lot harsher. But still, if you have your everyday person enjoy it, I think that's also a good thing as well. But yeah, so I have my new deadline. And just to kind of, speaking of deadlines, I'm not going to discourage myself even if I don't make this April one, but I have to keep going. The big scheme of things is to never stop going. You can start something and you can also not be perfect in completing whatever task. But as long as you're consistent, as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep telling yourself to keep going, as long as you have a positive outlook towards whatever you're trying to do. Because yeah, you may have moments where, let's say, if you're on a diet, you slip up. Maybe slip up for a couple weeks. But just having in your head that you can always go back to doing it. Just because you had that one slip does not mean it's the end of the world. It does not mean that you're banished from ever participating in that diet. There's always a tomorrow. Now, granted, we don't know when our last day will be. But take advantage of the day as if it was your last. So it's okay to know that you can have a tomorrow, but it's also okay to work on whatever you want to do today, and you know, to not put off for tomorrow, because that's what I end up doing. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope you really enjoyed this, because I enjoyed it. Of course, when I talk about Harley Quinn, I could just go on and on and on and on and on. And until basically I write this damn script, y'all gonna be hearing about her. But, okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. And I will talk to you part-time dreamers later. Time to clock out.